Hey all, this is John over at the OpSource Cloud, and doing another video demo for you today. And this one was driven by a lot of requests from folks using the OpSource Cloud, and that was people looking for a web UI to administer their MySQL, their MySQL database. So what we're going to do today is we're going to give you a quick overview of how to install phpMyAdmin um, on your database for administration. It's basically a free open source tool. It's been written in PHP and is out there to help with administration of MySQL. And it's a nice little tool. It does a lot of nice things, and we think it's pretty effective for folks out there that don't want to do command line type of work on their database. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. I've got a server I've deployed here that we're going to use for this installation. This server has got a private IP address on it, and it's a backend server, so there's no public IP address on this server. I don't want to put one on there. So what I'm going to do is fire up my VPN, um, get connected into the system so I can go log on to that box, get that up and going, and then we'll go ahead and log on to that box as well via terminal session. Great. All right, so we're logged onto the box. We've got that private connection going. This, just like lots of our other tools and things people use on top of the cloud, there's a cheat sheet for installing phpMyAdmin as well. And if it's not a duh kind of statement, for some people it will be, and for some it won't. You have to already have the LAMP stack running, which gives you Apache, the web server you're going to use. It gives you PHP, which is the scripting language that phpMyAdmin uses for the display. So we've got instructions here on how to install a LAMP stack. This server that I've got has already got the LAMP stack built onto it. So we've got a couple different things that we're going to have to do on the system here, including doing a library update for PHP that phpMyAdmin needs, as well as downloading phpMyAdmin, getting it loaded up on the system. So we'll go ahead and start downloading. We're going to use a 2.x version, and that's because we're running 5.1 of PHP, so we want to use that version. And we'll just go ahead and download this file. Get that down here on the desktop. I'm just going to load it down to the desktop. I then have that copy sitting on the desktop. I'm going to go and unzip that, go ahead and undo the archive so that I've got it exploded as well on my desktop. And so now I've got that here, and it's available. Before I start to install this PHP library I need, I'm going to go ahead and just start to upload phpMyAdmin over to my system. So I'm going to grab my SFTP client. I'm going to get logged onto that box, get hooked up, and I'm going to go find the proper directory, which for this box is /var/dub/html, and I'm going to take that PHP MyAdmin file and I'm going to move that on over, and I'm going to let that go to work and start copying up those files to the system. While that's going on, we'll go in here and we'll start to work on getting our mcrypt library updated. So we need this to get the system up and going. It's a different archive than the base Red Hat archive that comes out, the repository that comes out. So the first thing we need to do is go ahead and I'm going to copy this and just paste it and get those packages loaded down onto the system. Alright, great. So we now have those packages loaded down onto the system. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to install this mcrypt library. And again, I'm just going to copy this nice and easy. And I'm going to get that going. Get the files loaded up. Okay, I'm going to say yes. Alright, great. So we now have that library installed as well, which is important. we already did here, and before and in the background we downloaded phpMyAdmin. We uploaded it as well onto the server. It should be done now. There it is. It's sitting out there. And now we're going to do a couple of things that we can either do. We could do through a tool like this FTP tool that I'm using, or we can do it from the command line. I'm going to do the command line. We're going to do some additional steps to get phpMyAdmin going. So I'm going to move over just in that directory where those servers are those files are installed. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move this PHP file to phpMyAdmin, which is the file name that I'm going to want it called. Alright, so we've got that. We've got that done. I'm going to go into that file, and I'm then going to look for a file called config.sample.inc.php, and I'm going to move that. Actually, I'll just copy it so I have that original file. I'm going to copy that over to config.inc.php. Great, so I have that done, and have that in place. And now this last step, I'm going to go in, I'm going to VI that file. So I'm going to actually go in, and again, if you want to do this on your local desktop and load it up, you can do it that way as well. I'm just doing it from the command line because I'm comfortable with it, and it's just easier for me to do with the way I've got things laid out here. So I'm going to go in. Got to have this little password in here to access the system. And you can make it whatever you need to make it. You don't really need to pay attention to this password, but you have to have it in place to get access to the system. So there we go. Files are up. Files have been moved over to a phpMyAdmin directory. We've changed the config file. We have the mcrypt library. We're ready to go. So we need to go and test to make sure this thing's actually working. So let's go over to that IP address. And it was .13. Alright, and so there is the actual just the web server. Now let's go to phpMyAdmin. There we are. So here's the login screen to phpMyAdmin. We'll see, get logged on here, make sure our login's good, and we're up and going. So there you go, a very quick and easy primer on getting a visual, a web-based UI for database administration. Like I said, lots of web masters, lots of system administrators that don't want to do command line type of work take advantage from phpMyAdmin. They take advantage of it on our cloud. So hopefully this will be helpful to you folks out there that are looking to install it and want to install this on the OpSource Cloud, and you benefit from the steps that we've shown you here. So thanks again for your time today, and thanks again very much for using the OpSource Cloud.